I'm going to show you how to really go from a very simple daytime look to a quick evening. Just going to clip the hair back. So what I would tend to do, I'm going to obviously take a little bit of the lip off. I'm going to add a little bit more definition, just slightly to the brow area, a little bit more emphasis around the eyes, and then just going in with a little bit more of a liner onto the sort of eye area here, just tight lining that area, and then just added a little bit of blush, and then you could go in and warm the skin up if you wanted to as well, for an evening look. So, but I'm going to keep it main focus with the eyes, and then obviously a little bit more on the lips. I'm just going to take the lips off, and then before I go in, just going to add a little bit of hydration. I'll wait for that to absorb in before doing the lips. And then it's really about just adding now. So I'm going to go in with some stronger colours. Let's go for that one. Do it that way. So I'm going to add a little bit more definition, stronger tones, going in with this one. And actually Sharon would really suit these sort of taupey, plummy sort of tones as well. So, but I think I'm going to add this more brown sort of tone. I'm working in with a fluffy brush. Going in with this stronger. No, not that brush. Let's go for this one. So I'm just adding in just a little bit more definition now. Adding in around the eyes. Just knock off, just so you can see that it's quite a smoky tone. And then I'm just going to go in, just add over the top, just on this outer corner. So you can see instantly that it just gives that extra definition to the eyes. And I love just going in and blending, working that in. Certainly if you're, you haven't got a lot of time and you just want to quickly add an eye look, just go a little bit more definition. Just taking a little bit of that now just along the lash area. Same this side, a little bit more along this lash area. What you don't want to be doing is going in too heavy, so I'm really tapping off that excess so that when I go in it's not going to be too much, and then really focusing it on this outer area, because otherwise what can happen is it can end up looking too much, too smoky, unless that's the look you're going for. But we want to see these lovely colours still coming through. Just working along. You can take it and extend it a little bit. It would really suit Sharon. Just to take it out a little bit. Just up here. Just going very, very lightly. Like so. You can see that if you open your eyes, Sharon. Actually, what I might do is go in with a bit of liner. And then I'm just going to go in, just add a little bit more definition now. And this will really take it to a little bit of a stronger look with a bit of eyeliner just along that lash line. And then really working that in, so pulling up the eye area, just really working that in. And then I like to take a brush with a bit of shadow on it, just to kind of blend that out. And taking that along here. Lovely if you open for me, perfect. You can kind of see the difference there, just a really small amount. That pencil, just working that. And I do think that when you do like a day to night sort of look, everyone is different. You know, there will be some people that this would be their daytime look. Totally fine if you wear a lot of makeup. And then it's a question of then just maybe adding a different lip, stronger lip perhaps, you know, a slightly more definition of the face, with a bit of contouring. So it is really individual. If you open your eyes. And then just going to add a little bit more on this side, if you close again for me. Working that along, and then that colour, the shadow, just really extending that out here. And then you can always soften it out. Just going to make sure that it's even both sides. Brilliant. Okay. And then just really taking a blending brush. Now, I've always talked about this area on other videos, but it's an area where it's really sensitive. So I would oftentimes do the eye and then I'll go back and then I'll do that bit in stages if I feel that there is a sensitivity there. I kind of do it really without thinking now, but it's just certainly if I'm doing a stronger eye. So I'm going to just add a little bit now just to finish off in this sort of outer area. Because it can feel quite irritating on the eye, certainly depending on what type of brush. So it's just making sure that you've got something that is kind of nice and soft around the eye area, and that it's just not going to be too aggravated there. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of that darker colour, and then if you look up for me, Aaron, and just add just a touch of that shadow. You can go in with a bit of liner as well. So just add there. Perfect. And then again, if you want to, you could go in and then really sort of along the waterline. You okay for me to do that, Sharon? Yeah. If you look that way for me, so you can kind of see, just adding a little bit of definition. And you can just work that in between. Lovely. And you can see the difference there. And then the same this side. Just add. I'm going in with a black, but you could go in with a brown. Perfect. You can see it just really creates that extra bit of definition. And then I'm going to add a touch to the brow area. Brushing the brows. Then you can add a bit more definition. Just going in. Same this side. Lovely. I always like to finish the eye area off with a little bit of sheen. Go for a bit of gold. I like to go in. Just going to add a little bit with fingers. Just tapping that on. Area. Blending it, softening it out. Softening that out there. Okay. Lovely. Just add a little bit of highlight. I'm just going to tidy up, just add a little bit of extra concealer. You could go in with a bit more base as well, but actually just adding so. Let's go in with a bit of a blush. In, and you can add a little bit more base. I'm just going to go in, adding a little bit more before I go in with some more blush. So I'm working that blusher in. So just a touch. You can see there. So, and then I'm just going to work a little bit. I can go in with an extra coat of mascara. look straight ahead for me and then look up slightly. I'm just going to add just a little bit underneath here and then look down for me. Just extra, and you could add some lashes if you wanted to. And just go. A bit more definition for the lips. Just working that on the all over the lip area. Brilliant. And then working that same colour that I used on the cheeks. Same colour. The cheeks, the lips. Just gravy, brush your lips together for me. Then adding a bit of powder. Taking a little bit of powder. Now working that to the skin. Lovely, you can see there just knocking back shine. Just add a little bit on this side. So just taking a little bit off. Just going in with a setting spray. So that's taking a makeup from day to evening. You can see that I've just added to the eyes extra definition around the eye area, just going with a stronger colour and then tight lining along the lash and then going into the waterline with a darker colour and then taking a little bit of darker eyeshadow to define the eyes and then adding just a little bit more of a browny sort of tone, almost like a terracotta tone over the top of the blush that was already there, and then just going a little bit more definition for the lip area.